Okay, let's talk about the one decision that can literally make or break your entire business, and that is pricing. It's a really high stakes game, you know? Get it right, and you're looking at incredible growth. But get it wrong? Well, that could mean shutting your doors for good. So let's figure out how to play this game to win.
So let me ask you something, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. Think about your business right now. Is your pricing strategy actually a powerful engine for your profit? Or is it just quietly leaving money on the table with every single sale you make? That's the question at the heart of this high stakes game.
All right, here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the simple cost-plus method. Then, we'll jump into the competitor-based approach. After that, we'll get to the smart, value-based method. And finally, we'll pull it all together so you can choose the winning strategy for your business.
Okay, first up, this simple method, cost plus. Now, this is where a ton of businesses start, and honestly, it's because it's the easiest way to do it. All the numbers you need, they're right there inside your own company. It's all built on a very inward-looking foundation.
So the name really says it all, right? Cost plus. You just figure out your total costs to produce a product or deliver a service, and then you add a plus. That's your markup, your profit margin. It's really as simple as that.
Let's put some real numbers to this to make it super clear. So let's say it costs you £50 to make your product. You decide you want a 50% markup. Easy enough. You just add £25 on top. Boom. Your final price is £75. It's clean, it's simple, and hey, you get a predictable profit every single time. But, and this is a big but, here's the trade-off. Yeah, on one hand, it's super simple. You always know your margins. The problem, though, the huge downside, is that you're completely ignoring your customers and your competitors. You have no idea what people are actually willing to pay or what everyone else is charging. You're basically setting your price in a total vacuum. And this quote from the source material just nails it. This old-fashioned technique is entirely introspective. You're so focused on your own internal costs, your own spreadsheets, that you're completely missing what's happening out in the real world, in the market. It's like you're flying blind.
So if looking inward is that risky, it begs the question, right? What happens when you finally lift your head up and start looking outside your own company? And that brings us right into the market arena. This is our second method, competitor-based pricing. This is where you step out of your own little bubble and start paying very close attention to what everyone else is doing. The idea here is pretty straightforward. You're basically anchoring your price to what your competitors are doing. You do your homework, find out what they're charging, and then you've got a strategic choice to make. Are you going to match their price, go a little lower to be the budget-friendly option, or maybe you price higher to signal that you're the premium choice? Now, the good thing about this is you know you're in the right ballpark, right? You're not going to be wildly overpriced or underpriced. But there is a massive danger here. It can so easily trigger a price war, what they call a race to the bottom. Plus, it makes you overlook what's special and unique about your own product. And trust me, this race to the bottom is a fight where absolutely no one wins. It's a domino effect. One company cuts its price, so the next one does, and then the next. And before you know it, everyone's profit margins are just gone. You're not playing for success anymore, you're just trying to survive. So this forces a really important fundamental question. If you're not going to compete on price, if you want to avoid that race to the bottom, then what are you competing on? Is it your quality, your amazing customer service, your innovation, or is it your value? And that question, what are you competing on, that leads us to the very top of the mountain, the strategic peak. Because if your answer is value, then you are ready for what is, by far, the most powerful approach, the SMART method, value-based pricing. This strategy completely flips the script. Forget your costs for a second. Forget your competitors. Instead, you look directly at your customer and you ask one single powerful question. How much value am I actually creating for this person? Your price isn't based on your costs. It's based on their gain. Okay, let's walk through an example because this makes it so much clearer. Imagine you've got a software tool, and using it saves your customer £500, maybe in time, maybe in resources. That £500, that's the total value pie that you've just created for them. Now, of course, you're not going to charge them the full 500 quid. That wouldn't work. Your goal is to capture a slice of that value pie. So, let's say you price your tool at £100. Think about it from their point of view. They pay you 100,
to get 500 in return. That's a pretty sweet deal.
And this is where the magic happens. You get a really solid price of £100. And your customer? They're walking away with £400 of pure net benefit. They are absolutely delighted to pay you because for them, it's an incredible return on their investment. It's a genuine win-win. So the benefits here are just huge, right? You maximize your profitability, you can build a premium brand, and your price is perfectly aligned with the value you create. But let's be real, it's not easy. This takes a deep understanding of your customer. You need the data. Without it, you could get it wrong. Price too high and no one buys, or price too low and, yep, you're leaving money on the table all over again. All right, we've gone through the simple, the competitive, and the smart methods. So now let's bring it all home. We're going to pull this all together into a practical framework that you can actually use to find your winning strategy. So let's just boil this right down to the essentials. Cost plus, that focuses inward on your costs. And honestly, the profit potential is pretty low. Competitor-based, that focuses on the market, but you're always running the risk of a price war. But value-based, that focuses squarely on the customer. And that is where the highest profit potential is. Where you choose to focus really does determine your fortune. So how do you actually choose? Okay, here's the practical advice. If you're in a market where everyone is super price sensitive, you probably have to start with competitor-based pricing. But, and this is critical, you have to find other ways to stand out. Now, if what you offer is genuinely unique or premium, value-based pricing is absolutely your golden ticket. And good old cost plus, use it as an internal check, a safety net to make sure your numbers work. But please, don't let it drive your main strategy. Ultimately, it all boils down to this one simple, powerful idea. Pricing is not just about the numbers on a spreadsheet. It is a critical, central piece of your entire business strategy. It's the story you're telling the market about who you are, what you stand for, and the real value you bring to the table. And so that leaves us with one last question, and it's a big one. I want you to really think about your own business. Is your price just a number, something you kind of plucked out of the air? Or is it telling the true story of the incredible value you provide? Because getting that answer right, well, that could change absolutely everything for you.